Swasti Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahi Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sahna Vavatu Sahno Punaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Sai Ram. Good evening and welcome to day 32. We have exactly 9 days left for the conclusion of this festival that we have celebrated. So yesterday we spoke about the cup of happiness, and I hope all of you must have had one in the night and during the day today as well. I just want to quickly do a little bit of a recap so that we have an idea of the journey that we have covered in these last 31 days. So day one, we started with looking at the 9 steps to divinity, Satchitanand, and that is what is our goal of this Parayanam. We want to achieve a state of self-realization and to experience that love that flows freely, and that is who we are. And we looked at the 9 steps that are there to get to that point. And day 2, we clarified our goal of life, because we realized that unless we have a goal of life, unless we are clear about that goal, we cannot achieve it. So it's important to have a goal and to be clear about the goal and to be absolutely focused about the goal. And once we are focused on the goal, then like everything else we have achieved in life, we will certainly achieve this goal. So we clarified our goal of life, and actually the goal of life also happens to be the goal of this Atma Chalisa Parayanam as well. Then on day 3, we realized how important it was to also seek intensely that goal. So it's our seeking which attracts our goal. And therefore, since we are energetic beings, when we seek with all our heart and we seek intensely with a single-minded dedication, focus, and concentration, then it becomes easier for us to reach our goal. So we started to actually lay the foundations of this journey, the journey of life and the journey of this Parayanam. The 4th day, we spoke about the power of belief and faith. How in this journey of both of life and in these 40 days, we need to have faith in our guide, our Guru, to be able to take us there and move to a point where the Guru from an outer phenomena becomes an inner entity that is guiding us. But we need to have belief and faith. So we spoke about this very important prerequisite. 5th day, we spoke about that this entire process is an experiential process. And therefore, the learning has to be experiential learning, because we know, all of us know a lot of theory. We have read a lot. We know a lot in bits and pieces. But what we are lacking is the experience. And therefore, we looked at the 3 fundamentals of experiential learning. And we talked about Shravana, Manana, and Nitidhyasana. And we really focused on the importance of manana, because because of not doing enough manana, we end up not implementing it or putting it into practice in our life. So therefore, for nidhi dhyasana to happen, manana is critical. And for the one who actually listens carefully and reflects upon it and contemplates upon it and marinates, oneself in it, that person is able to very easily put that into practice. So on the sixth day, we spoke about the power of satsanga, which is what we are doing. The power of satsanga is being experienced by everybody. In these last 32 days, we've experienced the power of what this group can do and what the company of Seekers of Truth can do for us. And we paid respect to Adi Shankaracharya, where he beautifully said, Satsangatve Nisangatvam Nisangatve Nirmohatvam Nirmohatve Nischal Tatve Jivanam. And since this journey is about Jivan Mukti, the start is Satsanga, and we have been beautifully engaged in this Satsanga for these last 32 days. Then on day 7, we talked about Trikarn Shuddhi, because then we started to step into an experiential journey. And therefore, we said that it is so important to purify and to align our thoughts, words, and actions. So that our thoughts become purified enough that we have the courage to speak about our thoughts, and what we speak about is what we practice in our life, so that there is no difference between what we think and what we say, and what we say and what we do. And that's character, that's integrity, and that's what is so important. Day 8, we started to speak about some of the laws that govern life, and we spoke about the law of karma, which is the law of cause and effect, and that everything that we are facing today in our life as situations and events and people are because of this operation of the law of karma, because the prarabdha karmas are coming in front of us. So therefore, we don't need to blame anybody, because it's all coming to us because of actually our own past actions. And that gives us the importance of how we should actually be conducting our actions in this present moment, so that the law of karma becomes inoperable. Then on the 9th day, we spoke about the law of creative life force, that there is a creative life energy which is all inside of us, and that creative life force is the presence of that immortal self or the soul or the Atma, and that's resident within us, and that is the most powerful entity, because it is present everywhere, and it has the 3 elements of omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. And our journey really is about experiencing that which is immortal, which is resident within our body. So we spoke about that creative life force. Then on the 10th day, we spoke about another law, which is a beautiful law, which is the law of opposing forces, or the law of contradiction, because this whole samsara is full of contradiction. And from this contradiction and the opposing forces comes out the awareness of that which is ever present. So it is a necessary condition to create something or to experience something. So the lotus blooms only when there is mud all around. So we experience this all around ourselves, our life, our experiences, situations, people. We see this force constantly applying till we understand that this force is actually extremely essential for us to recognize that which is within us. So in ourselves also there is a law of contradiction taking place. We have a body which is subject to change and destruction and death, whereas there is something inside us which does not die. So just imagine we are a walking contradiction. We are a talking contradiction, because there is something which is changing and which is going to fall, and yet there is something within us which is changeless. So how beautiful it is, if you were to just reflect upon this thought, this can completely change your perspective towards life, because duality is the name of the game. On day 11, we spoke about an imperfectly perfect world, that this world is imperfect by design, by its very nature, and in its imperfection, actually it is perfect, because the whole course has been put imperfectly for us, because that's how we can improve it. That's how we get to recognize it. Had it already been perfect, we would have remained who we are. We would have not evolved to that state of consciousness, and therefore challenges had to be put on in our path, and these had to come to us in such a way that to our mind it looked as imperfect, but actually they were very perfectly set up for us. So on day 12 we said now that we understand what we need to do, we understand the laws that are there operating all of life around us. Now what we should know is that wherever there is a challenge, there is a solution which lies actually inside the problem itself. So all we need to do is accept the problem instead of fighting it and look for its solution. And that starts to give the power back in our hands, rather than us always thinking that we are a victim, and we, instead of reacting, we start to do something about it. On day 13, we spoke about the self, and we talked about the message of Maharishi Ramana, where he describes as a 14-year-old this whole experience of dying, and he realized when his body had become stiff and the breath had stopped that there was actually something in it which was absolutely aware, which could see everything, which could feel everything, and which could experience all that was going around. And therefore he realized there is the self which is immortal, indestructible, and has no relationship with the body other than that it is housed within the body. It is using the body to have this mortal experience. So that self is what we've been experiencing. And on day 14, then we spoke about permanence in impermanence, and we said that this everything around us in this world, in nature, even our body is constantly changing, and change is the norm of this world, which is full of duality. However, there is something which is permanent, and this permanence is who we truly are, and that is the self that Maharishi Ramana spoke about. And that permanence is our true identity. And that once we experience that permanence is where we reach our final goal of Ananda or bliss. Then on day 15, we spoke about aging, age as an acronym, which is adapt, grow, and evolve. That all our life, with all the situations and events that come in our life, we are constantly adapting to those situations, and we grow because of them. And because of that, we are evolving. We are evolving to our highest state of consciousness, which is what is called divine God. So it is therefore an evolutionary process. So whoever we are in this moment right now, we are because of all that has happened to us in the past, including our past lifetimes. So everything that you think was not so good in your life, everything that brought you a little bit of a pain, actually was so essential for you to be where you are at this moment. So therefore, your way of looking at things and the way you respond to things, changes dramatically, because now you understand things. Like yesterday, somebody was crying, and we were saying, we were looking at it as if it's a problem. Actually, it wasn't a problem. It was actually something very good, because that was the point which was going to create a big shift in that person. So therefore, when we look at it from the mind, we look at it as a bad event or a sad event. It's not sad event. So we need to start looking at things from the perspective, from the awareness of that higher consciousness, and not everything from the mind, because we fall into the traps of the mind very, very quickly. And therefore, the 16th day was an extension of that, where we said all suffering is the mind. And therefore, while a lot of the masters have said that, including Buddha, that this world is full of sorrow and suffering, but the suffering is all in our mind, and it is a creation of our mind born out of our attachments. And therefore, if we understand that mind itself does not exist, and if we can change the direction of these thoughts, we can start shifting from here, and we can change the whole experience, the human experience that we are going to have. And that requires us to get, into day 17, that we need to unlearn. There are too many things that we've been holding in our head and in our mind, which based on our wrong understanding, based on our ignorance, and that has been the cause for all pain and suffering. And we need to unlearn, let go of some of these opinions, judgments, and experiences that we have been carrying from our past life as vasanas and samskaras, and in this life as our memories. So we need to clean these from our subconscious. 18th day, we spoke about Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. This world as we see it is a projection. It's illusory. It's not real because it is a projection of our five senses, and anything that these five senses perceive is not true because it is subject to change. It is not permanent. So that is why it is seen as an illusion. And Brahman, which is the ever-pervading, ever-present consciousness within and without us, that Brahman is the truth because that is changeless. It was, it is, and it shall always be. Therefore, we went naturally into day 19 saying that the biggest problem, the root cause of all our problems in our life is this sense of doership, and which is born out of that I am the body and therefore I am the doer. And that causes ignorance in us, and that is the reason for this delusion where we start to take things for real and start to put too much attention to it, too much attachment, and too much of failure, joy, ups and downs all start to happen because of that. So if this root cause is looked into and we solve it by bringing in the right understanding of who we truly are, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, and therefore this whole illusion starts to move away, and you can see the world as a leela or a play, because that's what it really is. On day 20, we went and discussed about that awareness is the key to transformation. So always remembering that who we truly are, that I am not this body, but I am this consciousness, and being aware of it at all points of time is where the transformation really starts to take place. Because otherwise, we automatically fall into the mind trap and we go back to our conditioned way of thinking. So what we have been doing in the last 32 days is now rewiring ourselves to look at every situation differently, to look at things from a higher plane of awareness. We have not been, and whenever we fall into the trap, it's okay. We are able to see it and we watch our mind and we say, no, this is not the reality. The reality is different. And as soon as we put the awareness there, suddenly something starts to shift and the events start to change. Transformation takes place. So therefore, awareness is the key to transformation. And that's why we need to bring our awareness back. When the mind comes in, that means awareness has slipped. If the awareness comes back, the mind goes back into the background. So that's how this whole game is played between the mind and our consciousness, and awareness is the bridge between these two. On day 21, we talked of a very important point. I think it shook a lot of people when we said we must come to terms with our death. And we said accept death, and once we accept that we are going to die and that we don't know when that happy moment is going to come, it may happen now, it may happen tomorrow, it may happen in next 10, 20, 30 years, we don't know, but it is definitely going to happen. So why not come to terms with it and be free, and also do your final ride so that we are ready to face the world, because all fears in our life come from this idea of death and that I'm going to die. And one feels so much lighter, one is actually becomes fearless, and that fearlessness is required because spirituality, as we say, is fearlessness, and it really shifts our perspective, because till the time death haunts us, it makes us very uncomfortable. It makes us take a lot of decisions which we are not comfortable with, because there is some unknown fear which tugs our heart, and it's important to come face to face with it and release it. Day 22, we therefore said that now that we've accepted death and we know and we've cleared ourselves out of it, we should know that the truth is in this moment only, because there is time, otherwise is an illusion. The only thing that exists is this present moment, and this present moment is all there is. The past also came as a present moment, and the future will also come as a present moment, and otherwise past and future is an illusion because they are just a fancy creations of our mind. So to be able to live in the present and to be able to live it with our full awareness that I am this consciousness is what releases us completely. And we are looking for that release from that freedom from the clutches of the mind. Day 23, we spoke about Guru Deva, that the Guru was an external guru, and then ultimate idea of an external guru to come into our life is to help us to transition from the external guru to the inner guru, or we call as the Guru Deva, because Guru and Deva is God and Guru is a Guru. So Guru and God become one as the Guru merges as our inner consciousness, which is always present. So day 24, we spoke about twin laws. First, we spoke about detachment or vairagya, about the udashinta, that how slowly, as we start withdrawing and as we start understanding the difference between the real and the unreal, we start to withdraw and we start to detach. And detachment is the key for us to live life fully. Cause of our attachments is why there is hurt and there is pain in our life. And since we understand it, we are start withdrawing. And this withdrawal is a temporary withdrawal till we are able to experience and stay in the presence of our own consciousness. So this detachment is very important. And on the next day, on day 25, we spoke about the other twin law, which is called discrimination or viveka. So, and that viveka comes because of detachment. As we start to detach, we are able to see things differently. We are able to see things away from the filters of the mind, away from our judgments, opinions, and of our categorizations about everything that has happened in our life so far. So therefore, some kind of a higher intelligence starts to awaken inside of us. So the twins of viveka and vairagya, which is detachment and discrimination, they feed on each other and they help us evolve and they help us to deal and tackle with all the situations that we have to face in our life. So we spoke about them as the two angels who are always there guiding us. On day 26, we spoke that life is a game and we don't have to be serious about it. And therefore, like every game or every sport, we must enjoy it. So we spoke at length about why we have made life so serious, why we have created such heavy stakes. When we are able to see life for what it is, because we have accepted death and we've understood that we've come empty-handed and we'll go empty-handed, it makes us understand very clearly that life is actually nothing is in our hands. And therefore, if we have two choices, either we suffer through it or we enjoy it. Either we see it as a game or we see it as a heavy burden. If we disconnect and see it as a game, we can skillfully play it and we can really have a good time here. And that's the whole idea. We have to become a skilled player. On day 27, we use the analogy of using a thorn to take out a thorn, and we have to use a guru having a form to ultimately take out the whole concept of a guru out of us so that the guru can become formless. So from the form to formless, and we need to use our higher mind to junk our lower mind. So we need that analogy and we keep remembering that what is the use? The idea of duality is to come to oneness, and we need to be able to throw away ultimately all the props, all the tools, all the fixtures that we have used to reach that understanding. Because after a certain time, they are no longer relevant. What we required yesterday to walk or run, tomorrow we do not require it. And what we don't require, we trash it. So that's the whole idea. Don't keep holding on to things in the past and develop attachments, even if it is the people and even if it is your guru. So you need to move on because now the guru is established within you. Then on day 28, therefore we said, now that we know this, let's say yes to life. Let's say yes to everything that comes, because we've become light. We see it as a game. We are no longer scared of our death. We've understood the whole idea of that there is no attachment to be had even to any person around us. And when we understand that, we are able to now say to life, I am willing to receive you headlong on my terms, and I am not going to duck and I'm not going to run away. I'm not a scared rat anymore. I'm not going to hide in my hole, and I am able to face life fully like a lion faces all the animals in a jungle. On day 29, we spoke about that happiness is our true nature. Happiness is who we are, and that is the reason why we are always seeking happiness, and that's the reason why we remember the unhappy experiences, because that is not, it's not our nature. It's alien to us, and therefore therefore we react to it. That's why it remains with us. So we need to remember who we truly are. And when we are in our consciousness, when we are aware of our consciousness, we are always happy. It's only when we get out of it and we get into the mind is when we start becoming unhappy, which is again something we experienced yesterday. Then day 30, we spoke about, therefore, how should we act in life? And we said, do your best and leave the rest. That's a very beautiful way of living life. Always, in every circumstance, from the smallest of things that you do to whatever of whether it is of consequence or not consequence, make it a habit that you are doing your best. And that is how perfection creeps in every action of yours, because you are always doing your best. You're never doing anything half-hearted, because your whole consciousness is you are doing everything with full awareness. Of course, you will do your best. And once that habit of bringing the best in you in everything that you do, it becomes a way of life. And then it becomes a most beautiful gift, and you are no longer expecting any result for it. You are doing things for the sake of doing it. And therefore, we came to yesterday where we said that how to remain happy in our life. And we spoke about a interesting concept called the cup of happiness. And in that cup of happiness, we talked about action, reaction, and interaction. How when we act, we do make an honest effort and do our best. And what we keep out is the result expectation. For reaction, what we do is that we keep the bag of forgiveness inside our cup. And what we keep out of our life is negativity, because the moment we become negative, the challenges start. So therefore, before the negativity comes, make a prayer of forgiveness and forgive the person energetically also, not just in your mind. And the third is the tea bag of interaction. When we are interacting with people, let's operate from our heart center, and we share love with everyone. And when you do that, what will automatically be out is judgment, because as soon as we are judging people, the minute you think you are judging a person, remember you are now operating from your mind, and you need to go back into your heart center. And as you do that, love will start to come out, because that is the only thing love the heart holds. And we sweeten this life with the sweetener of acceptance, unconditional acceptance. So if we unconditionally accept the people in our lives and not try to change them and not try to fight it and not try to feel that some unfair thing has happened to us, and rather than we are in that acceptance that it is perfectly planned, it is perfectly ordained, and it has come to us because of our past karmas, then, and everybody in our life has come as a teacher to make us adapt, grow, and evolve. If we start looking at it from that perspective, everything starts to shift for us. And we need to stir constantly this tea or this brew of life with a stirrer, which is called the knowledge of the truth of who you truly are, right? So the awareness of your truth, that you are not this body, but you are this consciousness. So when you bring, as we said, the light of awareness to everything, suddenly everything starts to, all the dark corners, all negativity, all judgments, all these things that the mind is playing tricks on, suddenly vanishes, because the light of awareness comes. The awareness that I am this consciousness and I am not this mind. I am not this body. I am not this mortal. I am that immortal consciousness, which is the creator of this universe. So I've done a recap of the last 31 days of the work that we have all done together. This is the essence of the knowledge of all the Vedas and the Upanishads. And Bhagavad Gita is coming together in a very succinct form. And today, therefore, I want to talk to you about a very beautiful thing, because we are now going into that last state of that beingness, because we've done the whole journey from belief to faith and from faith to experience. And from experience, we are going to go into beingness. Now, one thing you remember, which is so powerful, while the cup of happiness helps us to deal with our life and look at all our situations, the most beautiful thing that brings abundance and joy in our lives is gratitude. And it is so magical and so simple, and we are all aware of it. But you know what? We have never focused on it, and that's the reason of our problems, because we've lived in a world which is interconnected, where everything is connected to each other and at all times. So our existence is not in isolation, but it is in coexistence. And every thought, as we know, prompts an action, and every action has a reaction, it has a reflection, it has a resound, it comes back to us. So, a mere thought, as we have discussed, sets up a chain of events and triggers a series of actions, reactions, and interactions. Now, when you combine the thoughts of 7 billion people living on this planet, we simultaneously create both beauty and harmony in one hand and chaos and conflict on the other hand. And that is the reason why this game of life is played till perpetuity. Now, we often ignore the beauty and harmony, but we focus on chaos and conflict. Because remember, it's our mind which always goes towards what is wrong or what is negative or what is missing, because we are able to spot that. And since our mind gravitates towards this negativity, therefore the resultant thoughts are further exacerbate the chaos and conflict in our planet, because that's how we are. It's all about thoughts. Remember, it's energy. It is pushing things. And so that's the reason, if we keep focusing on what's going wrong in our country, in our society, in the world, it is constantly bringing in and creating an energy of negativity around. Now, we know this is a game, and this game can end only when everyone becomes thoughtless. Now, just imagine a world where we are devoid of thoughts, and I don't think it's going to happen, anytime soon, that we become thoughtless at all. So, why don't we change our focus? Therefore, why not? If we start appreciating the beauty and harmony in the world instead of looking at negativity, imagine what we can create, what kind of thoughts we will create. We will create thoughts of beauty, joy, happiness, and this negativity will be completely replaced by something which is so beautiful, right? And therefore, we will create and transform this planet into a place of truth, auspiciousness, and beauty. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Because to imagine 7 billion people becoming thoughtless is not going to be a reality. So what can we do? Instead of negative thoughts, if all of us start thinking positively, and if it's a thoughts which create all of karma, all of life, all of this game, why don't we change our thoughts and we start appreciating around us what we have instead of what is missing? So if we can express our gratitude for the air we breathe, the food we eat, the ground on which we are standing, the places right now where we are sitting, the house where we live in, the jobs that we have, the businesses that we are doing, the clothes that we have, the books we read, the food that we are cooking or the food that we are getting to eat. If we can start giving gratitude to all the plants, to all the animals, insects, flowers, trees, clouds, sky, water, gratitude to all the people who are doing so much in the life, to the farmer, to the baker, to the cook, to the doctor, to the guru, to the builder, to the tailor, gratitude to our governments. We keep complaining about our governments. Gratitude to our nation, gratitude to the people, gratitude for satsanga, gratitude to all of you, gratitude to our parents, gratitude to God, gratitude to our friends who make our lives so beautiful. So if our lives can become full of gratitude and we thank all that there is for us and thank all those who provide all that we have, we shall always experience abundance, harmony, and joy. So why wait to become thoughtless? Instead, why not change the thoughts to be full of gratitude? Isn't that a very beautiful way of transforming this whole world? And we have seen that whenever we are in gratitude, what is gratitude? We are saying thank you. I thank you. When I say thank you to you, you say thank you to me. When I give gratitude to you, you give gratitude back to me. So a positive energy is going from me to all of you, right? And when you say gratitude to me, a positive energy is coming from you to me. And therefore, and remember, the entire creation is a play of energy. And when these positive energies are being exchanged, it will always bring good news in our life, good events and good happy tidings in our life. As the Vedas say, Shubham, Shubham, Shubham. All that is auspicious, auspicious, auspicious will come in our lives because of gratitude. That's the power of gratitude. Every morning and night we should pray and express our gratitude to all those who are there and bringing us all that we need. And if we can, and in Sanskrit we say the word is shukr. So if we can do this shukr, we can do this prayer of gratitude, and if we can thank all the people around us, including nature and all that we have, it will always bring abundance in our lives. I am experiencing, sitting in a corner, I experience extreme abundance. Everything comes to me that the thought may occur to me and it gets fulfilled because of this power of gratitude. So, and I'm sure each one of you has experienced the power of that in your life. It's just that we are now getting to focus and bring everything together, and we're helping to get all the slots fitted. So I hope you can add this to your cup of happiness. And add a prayer of gratitude along with it. And in any case, it's a great idea to keep showering gratitude to all the people. So with that, and a prayer of gratitude to all of you, I thank all of you for being here, and I thank you for making this happen. And I am grateful to the Lord Almighty and my Guru and Gurus to have helped and assisted us and given us the guidance. So thank you all. God bless you all. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnavadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhaku Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sai Ishwaraya Arpanamastu.